Yo, what's good, gang? Menace TFT here. Today we're gonna go over one of the strongest comps in the game, Karma Preserver Flex. This comp uses a lot of brain cells, so if you don't have many, I would not play this comp. But if you do, stay tuned. We're gonna go over some of the main variations of the comp, so different options for the carry and secondary carry, as well as some variations for the frontline tank outs. So let's get into it. I also stream on Twitch, twitch.tv Menace TFT. So yeah, come through. It's a vibe. All right, so let's talk about the core of the comp. So obviously we're playing around the Karma. So first let's put in the Chrono units because Chrono is pretty strong right now. So we put in the Vex, we put in the Zillion, and then unfortunately you have to put in this dog shit Jax 1 cost, just more of a trait bot. And then so we have our 4 Chrono units here. Okay, great. And then what most people do is they will put in a Recon for Preserver, and then they will put in just another Incanter, so let's say Cass. So here we have the 6 main units that we should be looking for when we're playing, which leaves us with, assuming that we're rolling on level 8, we have 2 extra slots, and depending on what you hit, kind of changes how you play the composition. This is kind of where your brain has to go into overdrive because you have to think about all these different outs depending on what you hit. So let's just go over some of the common scenarios for the +2. Now when it comes to the units that we're going to add into this comp, a lot of it depends on what extra items that you have to put onto your secondary carry. So here I have 3 scenarios in terms of your extra items. If you already have these items, you should be looking for these units. So in the first scenario, let's say that we have an extra Ginsu after we've itemized our Karma. If that's the case, then a good option is to put in a Kalista. She uses Ginsu really well, it's her best item. And then here, we're at 2 multi-striker, we can just add in a Hecarim, and then boom, we have 3 multi-striker. We have a fairy that we can add here. It's here. And then we can put the Ginsu in here. And yeah, there we have it. We have a good, solid comp, 2 carries, decent frontline. The second version of this is, let's say that we have a bunch of swords, right? We have good melee AD items. So we have BT, we have Taric, we have a Titans. If that's the case, then a good unit that uses these items is Fiora. Fiora is really strong right now. So if that's the case, then we can put these items on the Fiora. We have 2 Witch here, which is great. And then we have a +1, so maybe we'll put in another Gwen. We can put in another, I don't know, a Katarina to get another fairy emblem, right? I'm gonna put this on. Okay. And then boom, we have a warrior Karma comp. The third scenario is, let's say that we instead somehow, I mean, this is less likely to happen because you already want to use your AP items in the Karma, but let's say that you have a lot of additional AP items somehow. If that's the case, then a good AP user of this is putting in a Bard and then a Milio. And then you could secondary carry the Milio, and then these items can go into Milio. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is Milio is also a good user of Ginsus, which is great because Kalista also uses Ginsus, and you can basically play flexibly between the 2 comps if you have the Ginsus. Let's say that you don't hit the Milio, which is likely because it's a legendary unit. You could also just put in a Bard, or sorry, you could also put in a Ryze here, and Ryze can also use the same items, right? Ginsu, Shojin, whatever AP. So you can see that there's a lot of different variations of this comp depending on what you hit. I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. The Riot team really cooked on this set because there's so much skill expression in terms of the flexibility, in terms of the different comps that you can play. All right, now let's talk about what happens if you don't hit the Recon or Recon 2, which is a very likely scenario because Recon is such a contested unit. So let's say that we don't have a Recon and we need to kind of remake our frontline. A decent frontline is having 2 shapeshifters. So Nico or Swain, obviously you would want these to be 3 stars if possible, but if not, that's fine. So we have our frontline, and then we could just add in a bard for preserver, and this kind of fixes that scenario. Obviously you want to move towards the recon if possible, but this is one option for a frontline. You can also switch out the Swain for a Nasus or Nasus 2. Nasus is a really good tank, so this fixes your frontline here. The second out you have for a frontline is, let's say you don't hit as many shapeshifters and you hit a lot of Tarics instead. Then Taric is a really good frontline unit. So we have Taric, we can put in a Hecarim for Bastion, and then we can add in that Kalista from earlier. So we have 3 multi-striker. So again, this is a very serviceable comp. We have the 3 multi-strikers and the 2 Bastions. That's an option. The third option for a frontline is, let's say you don't hit the Tarics or the Hecarim, is to instead use Vex as the frontline and play more into Mage. So in this case, we would put in a Galio, and then we can put in a Nami here. So we have 3 Mage, and then Vex is the frontliner. And another unit we can play is Tahm Kench for Vanguard. And yeah, this is definitely an option too. All right, there you have it, guys. Karma Preserver Flex. Hopefully you learned something. Thank you so much for watching. Planning on doing more of these videos in the future. If you think I should, comment below or just tell me I look pretty. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.